Hi, everyone. I'm Dylan Hulser, VP of Retail Media at Kevel. I've spent the last decade here at Kevel working with retailers and marketplaces to build ad platforms that actually fit their business, not force them into someone else's mold. I've been lucky enough to work with companies all over the world, and one thing I've learned is this. The holiday season is where retail media strategies either shine or get exposed. And today I've got a great co-host to dig into that topic, Claire.
Thanks, Dylan. I'm Claire Hansen, Director of Customer Success for the Americas here at Kevel. My team's job is making sure our customers' retail media programs aren't just launched, but running smoothly, scaling effectively, and driving results for advertisers and shoppers. And like Dylan said, the holidays are when all of that planning and optimization gets put to the test. We're going to cover why the holiday season is such a critical moment for retail media, how we help our customers prepare from aligning on goals to navigating code freezes, and what successful execution actually looks like, with real world examples of retailers who have turned holiday momentum into long-term growth. This isn't just theory, we'll show you what works.
When you think about it, the holidays are retail media's equivalent of the playoffs. Advertiser budgets are at their peak, shopper intent is through the roof, and competition is fierce. If you can't move fast, scale up, and stay relevant, you miss the chance to capture a huge chunk of annual revenue. Claire, why don't you share a bit more about how we prepare for the holidays here at Kevel?
Sure. As Dylan mentioned, the holidays at Kevel are incredibly important to our customers and therefore to us. We actually start planning months ahead. So, a few big things we focus on are extended coverage hours. Starting in the lead up to Black Friday, our support team is available longer, so any issues can get resolved fast. Clear escalation processes. So, if something urgent comes up, everyone knows exactly who to contact and what the next steps are. And global team coverage. For example, during Thanksgiving in the US, our European team is going to pick up coverage so that there's support across the globe.
So, Claire walked us through some of the prep work: extended hours, clear escalation paths, and coordinated global coverage. That level of readiness doesn't happen by accident. Claire, how did we get here? How did we align the teams, get buy in, and what else have we learned over the years?
One of the things I think I'm most proud of is how our customer success and technical support teams have really learned to operate as a cohesive unit. So it's not just about answering tickets or slacks, it's about proactive partnership. We stay close to product, engineering, and sales so we can spot issues early, get ahead of blockers, and move fast when things heat up. Especially during the holidays, that level of coordination is really what keeps things running smoothly for our customers.
That's great. Anything else that folks should be doing to prepare?
Yeah, a big part of our holiday prep is aligning early with each of our customers on their specific goals and constraints. So, are there code freezes we need to work around? Are there revenue targets they're trying to make up before year end? Are there specific seller or campaign expectations adding pressure? We dig into all of that well in advance so that we can prioritize accordingly, whether that means accelerating a feature, pressure testing infrastructure, or just making sure someone's on call during peak days. These are the conversations that need to be happening. And if your partner is not initiating them, then your internal team needs to. Otherwise, you're kind of flying blind during the most critical weeks of the year.
That's the thing. The holidays aren't just about having the right tech. You also need the operational muscle to back it up, and that's where planning and teamwork makes the difference.
Definitely.
If the holiday season is retail media's playoffs, the rest of the year is the regular season. Holiday success starts long before Q4. You don't just show up in November and expect to win. You study your competition, refine your strategy, you build muscle memory, and when crunch time hits, you execute.
Exactly. We've learned that the best performing retailers we work with don't treat the holidays as a one off sprint. They treat it as the culmination of everything they've done the rest of the year. Testing new ad units, cleaning up data pipelines, tightening their seller onboarding. It's all part of a much longer game.
And just like a sports team, there's a full cycle of learning. After peak season ends, you run the tape. What worked? What didn't? Where do we break down under pressure? That feedback shapes your plan for the next year. And the teams that grow fastest are the ones that treat that cycle seriously.
It's also about internal alignment. So, strong collaboration across sales teams, ad ops, tech, and marketing. Everyone needs to be really clear on the playbook before things get chaotic. But just as important is knowing where you are on the maturity curve as a retailer. Are you just getting started? Are you scaling? Are you optimizing? You don't need a perfect playbook, but you do need one that meets you where you're at and sets you up for success. The more you test and refine ahead of time, the more confident and coordinated you'll be when that peak season hits.
Totally. If you're relying on last minute adjustments during the holidays, you're already behind. But if you've done the work, if your team is synced, your system's built to scale, that's when things click. And that's where the magic happens.
Yeah, and that prep doesn't just pay off in Q4. That makes your program more efficient, more profitable, and more resilient year round. So even after the holiday surge ends, you're still driving results.
So whether you're a marketplace like Slick Deals or Edmunds trying to grow seller spend, or a retailer like Dollar General or Chewy looking to drive more margin from digital, treat the holidays like a championship run. Start early, train hard, and build a system that's ready to win. Claire, you mentioned earlier something I wanted to talk more about, retailer maturity. I think that's such an important lens to bring into holiday planning and retail media strategy more broadly.
Totally. One of the biggest misconceptions we see is that you need to have everything figured out before you start. The perfect tech stack, a massive ad sales team, all the bells and whistles. But the reality is, every retailer is at a completely different stage in their retail media journey. So, what matters being clear is being clear on where you are and building a playbook that fits you.
Right. If you're early stage, maybe it's just getting your first campaign live or making sure your product catalog and first party data are in good shape. If you're mid stage, you're probably thinking about automation, expanding formats, maybe standing up a self serve portal. And if you're mature, it's about scale, optimization, personalization, opening up programmatic demand, all of those types of things.
Yeah, and knowing your maturity level also helps set expectations internally and externally. So you're not trying to skip ahead, right? You're building a strong foundation for long term success. We've worked with retailers at every stage you can imagine, and the ones that succeed are the ones who don't overreach or stall out. They move intentionally with the right partners and the right milestones.
So, whether this is your first holiday season running retail media or your fifth, ask yourself, what does success look like at this stage? And how can you make the most of the year? Not just to hit your Q4 goals, but to level up for the next.
Exactly. Maturity is not a finish line, it's a growth path. And the holidays are a great time to put what you've built to the test, learn from it, and keep pushing forward.
And all of this, knowing customer maturity, building the right playbook, prepping for the holiday surges, that's ultimately what led us to launch Kevel's strategy and services offering. So, let's talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for years, we focused on building the best tech, flexible, scalable, privacy first infrastructure that retailers could truly make their own. And we still believe that that's our biggest differentiator. But what we realized is that even with great tech, some retailers need more help, especially when you're trying to move fast or you're entering the space for the first time.
And that's where strategy and services come in. Strategy is about bringing in experienced consultants, people who've built and scaled retail media networks across industries and markets to help you shape the right program from the start. Whether it's ad product design, go to market plans, or even a long term monetization strategy, they've been in the trenches and they know what works.
And services is all about execution, really. It's for the teams who are bought in but don't have the bandwidth to run everything on their own. We can handle ad operations, campaign trafficking, reporting, all the behind the scenes work that makes retail media networks actually run. So your team can focus on growth, not just maintenance.
So, together, these offerings are about meeting retailers where they are. Not every team has a 10-person ad op squad. Not every retailer has the luxury of hiring an in house strategist. That's okay. The goal is to make sure that if you're ready to scale, we've got your back with both the platform and the people to help you get there. All right, we've talked about why the holiday season matters so much for retailers, how we prepare for the holidays, and how retail media maturity fits in. Let's talk about a few customers who've done this really well. Claire, do you want to kick things off with iFood?
Definitely. iFood is a food delivery leader in Latin America. They saw a huge opportunity to turn their merchant network into an advertising ecosystem. So, using their first party data and Kevel's platform, they launched sponsored listings and a self serve ad portal. They ended up growing monthly revenue 20x in 1 year. And it wasn't just a holiday bump, it became a year round driver. This kind of performance builds real trust with merchants. When they see proof that ads drive measurable results, they're not just testing, they're reinvesting and scaling. That's what made iFood's ads team so successful. They proved impact, and that proof unlocked even more merchant spend.
Some other favorites are Slick Deals in the US, whose I've been working with for almost 8 years now, and El Corte Inglés in Europe. Both activated their first party data to deliver hyper personalized ad experiences, delivering exactly what shoppers expect during the holiday season. Enhancing relevance increased engagement for their respective advertisers and drove stronger returns in the busiest season of the year.
Great example. And then there's also MC Sonai. a global retailer that used Kevel's AI tools to build predictive audience segments. They targeted shoppers based on anticipated behavior, and that precision delivered a 478% ROAS during key periods. Sonai shows what happens when advertisers see proof of performance at scale. Their annual commitments grow, and that momentum fuels even faster business expansion. But the real takeaway is this: regardless of size, model, or market, the common thread is performance. If you can prove results, advertisers reinvest, whether you're iFood, Sonai, or a smaller player just starting out.
A few different approaches, but the same takeaway. With the right tech and the right prep, the holidays can be a launch pad for retail media growth that lasts all year long.
The holidays do bring massive opportunity. They also bring massive pressure. If you've got a scalable platform, a clear plan, and a partner who knows what it takes to execute, you can make the most of it. There's a real difference when you know your partners are paying attention, not just as a platform, but as a team who's deeply invested in your success.
Exactly. Whether it's turning seasonal traffic into year round revenue like iFood, delivering hyper relevant ads like El Corte Inglés or Slick Deals, or driving huge returns with AI like MC Sonai, retail media is one of the most powerful growth levers that retailers have today. If you're watching this and thinking, we could be doing more to get ready, now's the time to act. Reach out to us. We'd love to share more stories, show you what's possible, and help make this your most successful holiday season yet.
Thanks so much for spending time with us today. If you have any questions, put them in the QA panel to the right of the video window and we'll get back to you via email. But if you want to know more about Kevel, visit kevel.com or visit our virtual exhibitors booth found under the exhibitors tab at the top of the page. Cheers to a smooth, profitable holiday season from Kevel.
Thanks, Claire.